Hey guys, Josh here, and this video here is going to be about why you feel, think, and do crazy things inside of a relationship. And this is kind of the process that is how those crazy feelings, thoughts, and patterns were wired up in you to begin with, and then what we can do to actually bring healing to them so we don't have to do those crazy things anymore. I've got a whiteboard here, and I'm going to kind of go through and show you how this all plays out. I first learned this from my mentor, Dr. Jake Smith Jr., and this is a pretty powerful, research-backed process for how this works. So first off, here's your life. You were born, and here you are in the present. So you come out of the womb, and life goes on, and things happen throughout your life, and eventually here you are today. And I want to share this quote from Christian psychologist Kurt Thompson. He says, "We are all born into the world looking for someone who is looking for us." And he continues to say, and we remain that way for the rest of our life, which means here you are, you're a little infant, and you come out and you're looking for mom and dad, right? And that same looking for mom and dad who's looking for me, that same way of being is still in us today. Whether you're in your 30s, whether in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, until you die, that way of being is inside of you. And the beauty in this is that so much of the gospel is found in that. We're looking for God, and he's actually looking for us too. It's why Jesus' name is Emmanuel, God with us. More to say on that later. Let's go back to this though. So here's your life. Born, looking for someone looking for you. Here's in the present. Along the way, we all eventually will experience hurt. This is an unfortunate reality of life. And this is important because when we are hurt, what happens is that our brain wires up in such a way where it says, I will not get hurt again. The hurt happens. The brain's job is to keep you safe and to keep you alive. And so what it does is it does its job and it wires up in such a way it says, I'll never get hurt again. And when it does that, what happens is it conforms this contempt cycle. It's on the defensive, and it will attack or defend in order to keep itself safe so that it doesn't get hurt, so that you don't die. And this is where we get that word contempt from, or the contempt cycle is that word I've just said. I like how Jake says, he says, this is where relationships go to die. And I have watched some relationships die because of this contempt cycle, and I'm sure you have too. So the contempt cycle, what it is, it looks like this. We have these two sides. We have the offense side and we have the defense side. On the offense side, this is full of things like judgment, blame, and accusation. And then it spirals over here to the defense side, which looks like rationalizing, justifying, spinning. You can kind of see this as attack and retreat. Attack, retreat. I gave it some definitions over here if you want to read along. When I'm talking about judgment, you're thinking of, I'll give you an example. Let's say you and I are in a conflict of some sort, right? And that conflict happens to tick on some of the hurt that's happened in my life. And since my brain is wired up to keep me safe from that, I move into this contempt cycle. And the way that I keep myself safe is I jump up into my offense, into my attack, and I start making judgments, these negatively formed opinions about you, the other person is an example. Or I start accusing. I start making these definitive claims about what you've done or what you're thinking about doing or who you are. And I start putting the blame on, taking the responsibility off of my shoulders and putting it on your shoulders. I start blaming you, right? Now, if that's happening between us, what are you going to do in response? You're going to move over here into the defense side, and you're going to start either rationalizing, being like, well, here's why I did what I did, Josh. Or you're going to start justifying, like, and here's why it's a good thing that I did what I did. Or the other thing we do in defense is we spin things. So this is like this overemphasizing, underemphasizing, embellishing. Maybe I'm withholding information. I'm spinning the situation. All of this is in a defense as well to keep myself safe and keep me alive. But now I'm defended. And really it's some version of this flight, fight, freeze, fawn. If you've ever heard this before, usually we have these first three, right? I'm going to go fight. That's my attack. I'm going to flight. I'm going to run away. Freeze. You know what that one is. Fawn is like if a grizzly bear were to walk in my room right now while I'm filming this. I live in Montana, if you didn't know. We have grizzlies. Fawn would be I'm going to go cuddle with the thing and like convince it to love me, even though it's here to hurt me, right? So that is the contempt cycle. You can see like, wow, that is where relationships would go to die. That'd be terrible, right? So what can we do about this? How do we actually change something? How do we heal this? How do we make relationship last long and thrive both with others and with God? Well, we have to first address the contempt. If we can find the contempt, then we can find the hurt. And if we can find the hurt, then we can bring healing to the hurt, and we can actually remove this entire way of being, this entire system. That's the crazy feelings, thoughts, and things that you do. So then the question is, how do we actually bring healing to the hurt? That's what the bottom half of this is all about here. Let's go back to Kurt Thompson's line, we're all born in the world looking for someone who's looking for us. If we can give that to the hurt, it will be healed. the more operational side of this is what we call attunement. If I can bring attunement, bring attention to that hurt, it can heal. And attunement looks like these 4 pieces right here. It looks like someone who's going to see me, someone who's going to feel with me, someone who's going to suffer alongside me, and someone who's going to delight in me. And when we can get those 4 things to our hurt, that's how we can heal it. Now, in order to make that happen, it takes 2 parties, because our relationship is 2 people, right? And there's 2 sides of this, and they go together, and you can't have one without the other. And what those are is emotional vulnerability and emotional accessibility. So what this looks like is I'm the one who's willing to share, this is my hurt. This is what has happened to me. This is the story of my life. This is what I'm working through, wrestling through. Even inside of our relationship, that's me being vulnerable and telling you what's going on with me. Now, that's my half, or that's one person's half. In order to create attunement that will bring healing to the hurt, the other party then needs to be emotionally accessible. This means they're willing to actually do this. They're actually willing to see you or see me, feel with, suffer with, delight in, to be able to be accessible. If I reach for you, I can actually get you. If I reach for you, you're actually willing to be reached for. You're willing to stick your hand back. And the way that we do that is see with, feel with, suffer with, delight in. And when that happens, what we create is emotional attachment. Emotional attachment here, this is what we're all looking for and longing for when we're looking for someone looking for us. That's what this line is all about. And when that happens for the thing that we've found hurt in, it removes this contempt cycle. Now, that needs to happen with both God and with others. With others, that looks like someone safe, who's willing to be emotionally accessible, who's willing to do all of these things with you inside of your hurt and not just advise you or encourage you out of it or make a joke to relieve the pressure. And with God, it looks like actually bringing that before him and experiencing him seeing you, feeling with you, suffering with you, delighting in you. And so that's how what we can do with crazy feelings and thoughts and actions inside of relationship to bring healing. And when we create this emotional attachment, that's where relationships not go to die. That's where they go to thrive and last in a long time. So what does that mean for you? What that means for you is when you feel your contempt cycle being ticked on, poked at, arising, reaching for you, whatever language you want to use, when you notice yourself jumping into that attack or that retreat, and you can even do it both in the same conversation, right? You can judge, you can blame, you can accuse, rationalize, justify, spin. All that can happen. You can even just have that happening inside of your head without somebody else in the room. You can have that happening towards actions that you've done. You can judge yourself, you can rationalize, you can spin, you can blame, all towards yourself. All that does, that's an indicator for you. Doesn't mean you're broken, doesn't mean you're crazy. That's an indicator that says there's some hurt here, and that doesn't need to be scary. Instead, what it indicates for you is hey, there's a pathway forward. There is something that can be done, and you can heal. And if you do, all that crazy won't be there anymore. It's amazing. I'm living proof. There are so many ways in which I've come, usually on this side of the equation, and I've just cut people down at the knees, and it's like, man, it's not actually them. There's some hurt inside of me that can be addressed. I don't have to just be better and be kinder and be more loving. No, I become better and kinder and more loving when I can actually heal the thing that has caused me to not be that way to begin with. And as I've done that, I've learned to sit with people better than I've ever had before and honor them for what they're doing. They might even be the one attacking me, and it doesn't hurt like it used to because I've actually been healed. I'm not defended, I'm not walled up, and I'm also not a doormat. I'm not going to let them just stab me. But I go, ooh, that's coming out of your own hurt. And I know what that's like because I've gone through that myself, and I'm actually become more of a wounded healer now. Now, this is a lifelong journey for all of us. I wanted to make this video so that you saw how that all works and that you know there's a path forward. And the last thing is I'll put a link in the description to that digital whiteboard that I had that I was presenting from. And you go ahead, click that, and you'll be able to zoom in, zoom out, take a look at that whole process that we just walked through and be able to understand it a little bit better for yourself and where that shows up. I hope it's helpful again, and thanks for listening. Bye for now.